Thank you for inviting me to speak on the First in Finance. I think it's definitely important. And I think my journey is very unique in its own, being that I didn't come from a finance background and I came from humble beginnings. It was all about just showing a lot of grit. I think early on, my parents put me in a position where I was put in a leadership position rather than be in sports. In my academia, they always told me I had to work a lot harder to open up opportunities. So that really transpired throughout college. I took on finance in college, not because I was interested in the markets, but because I wanted to take some knowledge back and share that with my community. And throughout college and my early career, I've just been able to, I guess, with as they say, grind it out. Just really get it deep into the weeds with trying to create consistent habits. I'm still falling short on a lot of things, but I think the lessons that I'm learning across the way, coupled with my grit, has allowed me to kind of move in this industry as a young professional and learn and meet new people just because my openness to be curious and my openness to work very hard.
Definitely, thank you a lot. So, based on your internships and just earlier career experiences in general, what important lesson have you learned that have significantly impacted your professional development?
Most definitely. I think that's a good question. And I say that because early on, I think as we're growing into ourselves, we try to put ourselves in the lane and saying, this is what I want to do. This is exactly how I see things are going to be. But I think it's important as a young professional and as an intern to just be malleable, be coachable, take experiences that are given to you and literally be in the moment with those. I think when we're putting experiences that are a bit uncomfortable, that's where we learn a lot about ourselves. So I would say to anybody that's in their first opening stages of this professional realm, just be open. I know you'll have curiosities, but feed those curiosities by asking questions, being around people that do different things so you can get a great scope into the realm of into the professional world rather than just being laser focused on one opportunity because you never know what you'll really like as you're experiencing new things.
Definitely, that's a really good answer. Thank you. So, the next question we have is influence on of professional networks. So, in your opinion, how is participating in professional networks influence professional growth and opportunity? And what advice would you give to first generation college student about the value of joining such networks?
I think that's another great question. Wow, you come with some really heavy hitting questions, and I appreciate them. I would say that networking is so important, and I think it's important from your earlier days without having your position to the senior level role because we're in the people's business. So I would say that I've always told people when they ask me the technical skills you'll learn in the role. Once you get the position, they'll be able to groom you because they want you to learn a certain process or learn a product in a way that's best suited for the team, but your soft skills, including your networking and communication skills, are things that are one, transferable across industries, but two, very important for you to one, create a brand and name for yourself, and two, for you to build a network that you can really grow and scale what you're trying to do from a impact stance, but also from a professional stance. So I would say networking is so important and it makes quote unquote the job hunting process a little bit easier and worthwhile because you're able to build off of the people connection, not just a yes or a no to an interview. And I think it's played a pivotal role in my adolescence. Now it's playing even a more bigger role as I'm uncovering things that I care about. I know I can be to myself and share ideas with myself based off of this, which interests me. But like I said, it's important to just let those curiosities be known. Let individuals that you're speaking with and maybe interviewing with tell them something that's interesting you outside of the role. Just allow them to know who you are as a person. And through your networking, a lot of people will tell a lot about your character, which will then transfer into their ability to work with you.
Definitely. Thank
And
you.
and please let me know
Um,
if I didn't answer that second question. Do you mind restating the second question once more just
yes,
to see if I answered it?
definitely. Is what advice would you give to first generation college student about the value of joining such networks? I think you hit on the nail. Yeah.
Well, I want to add
And
one more thing and say that I know it's scary. Talking to strangers can be a scary thing, but I do want you to understand that these professionals that we're seeking advice and mentorship from, they were once in our shoes. They know how uncomfortable this can be, but I think they're looking for us to take the bull by the horns per se and just start talking. is ask simple questions. If it's something that you don't understand, let that individual know that I don't understand. If it's something that you feel is elementary because you're in a sea full of titans, let them know, hey, I'm blessed and honored to be around you guys, but can you please break this down? And I think individuals will appreciate your just vulnerability, and especially if it's something that's going to help you grow. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to shake hands with individuals. It'll come back full circle.
Thank you. That's amazing advice. Thank you a lot. We appreciate it.
Yes.
Um, the next question I have is about challenges. So, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced transitioning from college to the professional world, and how did you overcome them?
Most definitely. I want to be super transparent with you guys. My journey, like I said, was a roller coaster, and I want to start back to my very, very first job out of college. I was able to somewhat land an insurance financial analyst position after undergrad, but I think the communication was so bad in the sense that I entered a job and thinking I was going to do one thing. When the first day started, I was doing something totally different. So I actually uh, cut that relationship with that job pretty short, and you wouldn't guess how short that relationship was. It was no more than 2 days. So
Oh,
essentially, I went from having a job right after undergrad to leaving that job, and then what happened? The pandemic happened. So I literally was in a position where I was applying for 200 jobs throughout the early stages of the pandemic, just getting no's, having a few odd end internships to one build my resume, but to still put money on the table. But the pandemic was a challenge in its own. It was, is it me? Is it the world? Are these people not hiring? Do they not like me? So it was a moment where I literally had to reflect and just let the work take care of itself. I couldn't force myself in any door. Why? Because the doors were closed due to the pandemic. So literally it was put in a position where I just had to make my output so strong and so consistent that at some point an opportunity had to open up. And I would say that once the opportunity opened up, that was just the beginning. So the challenge was just understanding that there was a process that I couldn't control. I think that was some of the biggest challenges. I think right now I'm not in a position where I have a lot of challenges for my job because I'm still in the incubation learning phase. But I think the early challenges I had just came around the understanding what patience really means when it comes to interviewing for a job or when it comes to preparing. Like you have to really enjoy the process of preparing for an interview or getting a no, because understanding that that no is essentially a learning lesson for you to tweak your resume, tweak how you deliver your interview questions, or tweak your personal statement. So just knowing that everything that was going to be meant for me was going to be meant for me, but I had to literally go through the process of adversity, like for 2 years with the pandemic. So I feel like that was my biggest challenge thus far. Now it's just about how far do I want to take my potential? I think that we get complacent when we get certain accolades or accomplishments and then we don't level up. So just understanding that right now I'm in a period of just working my butt off, knowing that it may not look as cute with going to do fancy things, but just knowing that it's going to take care of itself, God willing, and with all the work and dedication I'm putting towards what I'm doing right now.
it's a really good answer. Thank you a
Yes.
lot. Um, talking about challenges, and we will talk about next. We talk about the value of mentorship. Can you
Mhm.
share some thoughts about mentorship for you? And has there been a significant mentor or leadership experience that has a lasting impact on you?
I can't even go to explain the impact my mentors has had on me. I would say that me personally, I grew up in an environment where there wasn't a lot of individuals that looked like me that was in corporate America. So having a mentor early, or mentors and people that brought me along, was so impactful because it gave me a sense of direction. It gave me a sense of openness. I wasn't forced to just keep my head down. There were people that I can look up to and let them know what's going on in my life. And a lot of the times when I connect with the mentor, or when we connect with mentors, we look at it as what can they do for me? But really, a mentor is all about sharing that journey, getting advice from their journey, feeding off of their mishaps, feeding off of their success. So I think having a mentors or people that you can confide in the professional realm that have experience is so important because they allow you to just be better than them just off of taking their insights, but also they're able to put you in rooms and situations that helps catapult your potential. It helps put you in the position to get that job. So just knowing that mentorship is all about a mutual relationship, I think that that's my biggest thing I can say. Don't try to look at a mentorship. Don't try to look at a mentor as somebody that can just give. They want to learn from us just as much as we want to learn from them. So knowing that I'm really trying to feed the engine and just be malleable and be coachable to add value to both of our lives. That's how I look at mentorship. And when I look at the people that's meant a lot to me, that would be coaches. My coaches that I keep a great relationship with, I think that they helped me become a man. They showed me things that the workforce expects us to have when we start, like hard work, teamwork, coachability, effort. Those are things that my high school coaches and college coaches that I call mentors will share me. But they're individuals in the professional realm that showed me how to carry yourself, how to wear your clothes, how to communicate in meetings, how to speak in the power of three, how to speak in pauses. So I would say that my mentors are just a part of my armory. They're just helping me become bulletproof, and I think that we all can reach the levels we want to get by just hard work. But I think these mentors help expedite the process and add a little bit more nurturing effect to what you're doing.
That's another really good answer. I really resonate with the idea that mentor help you become bulletproof.
Yes.
That stuck with me definitely. Um, we have one more question about
Okay.
professional, yeah, education when you, yeah, and when you start working. How have your professional certification and
Yeah.
ongoing education contributed to your career development and
Yeah.
success?
I would say that you want to you want to make it so hard for a job or an opportunity not to pass that you want to put yourself in a position of greatness. And I think by being great, you have to get certain degrees or certifications under your belt, like you said. So right now, I'm in a position where I'm in my MBA program. I'm doing that knowing that in today's corporate landscape, a bachelor's degree is great, but having an MBA degree or three letters behind your name, whether that be a certificate, is even more preferred, just based off of the competitive landscape that we're in. So I'm really looking at it as how can I take where I'm at right now with little to no responsibilities because I don't have a family and maximize my time. So I'm doing the MBA program, but also before I even got into the industry, I looked at a lot of job descriptions that I was applying for, and I saw that there was a commonality between certain certifications. So, what I did was say, okay, if all these jobs have a general landscape about what they expect or what's preferred, I'm going to take on one of these certifications, and it may not be as something I want to do, but just my effort and me showing that I'm putting forth my best foot to get into the door with these positions really came off well. So during the pandemic, I'm applying for jobs, somebody's hiring. I saw that a beginner level of SQL is something that was um, uh, loved during the pandemic. So I literally went to Coursera, found a SQL introduction class from Cal Berkeley, as all these institutions were doing free certifications, and took it on. And during the pandemic, I didn't teach them all the things that I was able to do. I was actually telling them, "Hey, I just wanted to stay stay fresh. I wanted to learn something that I feel that you guys care about. I may not use it, but I want to show you guys and show myself that I'm able to put myself in an uncomfortable position and learn things that can be valuable to the team." But I think it all goes back to knowing what you want or knowing something that you think you want, allowing yourself to just go deep, head deep into the water. Like you'll eventually learn how to swim. And I do think with everything, these certifications, they'll become a little bit more digestible as you're consistently putting in your craft. So if you can find a certification or opportunity to formally train yourself, I would take it on. Of course, we can learn anything under the sun, but just knowing that there's a sense of a chess match going on with the professional realm of things, this stay proactive. Be earn your competitive advantage through how you communicate with your soft skills, through your learnings about what's going on in the world, but also through you just wanting to better yourself through putting yourself in through the ringer, rather than be through certifications or personal training. Just continue to try to sharpen your iron.
Definitely. That's
Most
really
definitely.
important. Yeah. I think we can move on to some fun questions
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Uh, so the first one we have is, if you were conducting this interview, what is one question that you would ask?
If I was conducting this interview,
Yes.
I would I would say, what is the one thing that's keeping you up at night or your colleagues up at night as you guys are going through college or thinking about the professional realm? So let me know what you're thinking about, what's keeping you up.
What keeping me up? What keeping me up is to see the purpose of the job that I'm doing, what value I can bring to the job, and how I could connect with more people and help people through my role.
Most definitely. I think that's a good thing. You're focusing on your impact, and that's always good to think about. What am I going? What impression am I going to leave on the people that I'm serving and the people that I'm working with? And I think if you can continue to focus on building your brand through being a good person, that can never go wrong.
Yeah,
Most
definitely.
definitely.
Definitely, most definitely. The last question we have for you now, Bobby, is on influential financial books or movie. I know you love w- um, what is it, money
Yeah,
lesson,
psychology of money.
psychology of money, right? Exactly. Thank you very much.
Yes.
So, if you had to pick one financial book or movie that has influenced you the most, which one would it be and why?
Financial book that's influenced me the most.
Yes.
Right now, I'm actually reading Warren Buffett's Snowball. I think it's I don't see. I don't want to get it wrong. Please don't strike me down, anyone. But I think it's called the Snowball of Life, I believe. But it's written on the behalf of Warren Buffett, and I'm listening to it on the audiobook. And I apologize. It's a big book, so I haven't looked at the title in a long time. But it's
No
literally
worries.
walking through no, I mean Warren Buffett's life in the sense of how he got interested in, I guess, bartering, and then how he got interested in money, and then how that literally compounded over his entire life. And I think the lessons that I'm learning in that book is, yeah, we can look at things and try to hit home runs and get a certain return or get a certain lifestyle, but it's anything in life, like money, it's all about your habits. And I think in such a consumer facing world we're in right now, understanding that it's not all about what you can spend right now that's important. It's what you can save, what you can give back, what you can grow, and literally the freedom that you can create off of compounding interest, rather than trying to hit home runs with trying to beat the market in one given day, or trying to create this one product that's going to change the world. Just continue to try to focus on getting 1% better. And I think that's allowing me to look at my money a certain way and look at how money is actually used as a tool in one way, but also just in my personal life, knowing that I literally have to try to strip down everything until its basic foundations and just focus on trying to complete those simple tasks repeatedly, and then turn those into a second habit, which would allow me to learn something else and then build those habits. So I'm literally in the space now, where I'm trying to simplify a lot of inputs in my life to then maximize the outputs, because I feel that I'm young, I make mistakes, I try to do too much at times, or I try to, or I sometimes overthink, or I sometimes look at the next person and not look at my own situation and really understand what it is that I'm going through. So it's that book. I think it's called The Snowball of Life. I think that's what it is. Snowball of Life. It's showing me that life can be not simple, but we can take a deep breath once we put things into simple inputs and knowing that some things are out of our control, Eileen. Like some things we just can't control. And it's important for us to know that we can't control some things. The only thing that we can control is what we're doing for ourselves. So just have to hold our heads to what we're doing. And I think that as a young individual, there are going to be a lot of things that just come in your life, just like, how in the heck this just happened? I know I didn't cause this, but knowing that, okay, things happen. How do I process what happened? How do I possibly change my inputs to where the outputs may not be the same case, but if they do, at least I know how to process the result because I've seen it before. So if we can put ourselves in a position to understand that we only can control, we can control, and just try to be the best selves day by day, I think that'll put us in our best potential and show that the best.
Thank you. I think this is a really good answer. I mean, the ability to navigate through adversity is always very important. And your answer really make me want to start making the snowball by Warren Buffett. Um, Thank you. I cannot stress it enough. Thank you very much for sharing your valuable insight with me today, Bobby.
Most
Your
definitely.
experience and advice are incredibly inspiring, and especially for our first generation college student who are
Most definitely.
navigating the path to. Yeah, we
I would
really appreciate your
I would
wisdom.
say I thank you for the time. I thank Superior Audit for allowing me to share my experiences. I know I'm not the most technically savvy, but I just try to be as vulnerable and open with you guys. But please do not hesitate to reach out to me, you, your colleagues, the next line of Superior Audit interns or cohort members. Just please continue to reach out. I know that you guys will be light years ahead of me. As long as I can add some fire to your path, that's all I care about.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely do that. Thank
Most
you a lot,
definitely.
Bobby.
No
Yeah.
problem. Well, I hope you have a great one, Eileen.
Yes. Thank you. You too.
No problem. Bye bye.